when you go into a relationship, as human beings, we rely on each other for survival. The reason that we have relationships is because history has proven that if we get into a relationship, we can leverage the strengths and weaknesses of both people and lean on each other for support, which aids our chance of survival. It aids our chance of survival. And people that are anxious attachment or secure attachment know I need this other person for survival. People that are anxious are like more scared of not having the other person. The person that's secure still knows that they need someone else for survival and that their life's going to be better with that other person in it. But they have less fear attached to it. So they're a bit more of a secure base. Now, apparently, people that are avoidant in nature and avoidant in relationships, that feel uncomfortable in intimacy and do what they call in the book deactivating strategies. So they do little behaviors that actually create distance from intimacy. So if they're walking and they point out a flaw of their partner, that is a deactivating strategy because it's trying to turn off what they are insinuating as a natural, healthy part of being a human, which is to activate the attachment drivers within us to say, hey, I want to support that person. I want to be close to that person. And someone that is secure, when they get to closeness, it promotes more closeness. If someone's anxious attachment and someone creates closeness with them, they want to create even more closeness. So closeness creates closeness. When it comes to an avoidant attachment person, their theory is that they have in their lineage or from a gene perspective adapted to not relying on that other person for survival, but in times of war or extreme stressful situations, they couldn't trust or rely on other people. So they had to become hyper-focused on competence in life. Someone that's avoidant attachment doesn't trust that the other person would aid their survival. In a war and stuff, they've got to become completely competent themselves at approaching difficult situations. And so they look at life more through the lens of, is that person competent or not? And instead of just having this person in my life is going to improve my chance of survival, this avoidant attachment style has got programming in their ancestry that says your best chance of survival is to be more sovereign and be damn good at everything. That's going to give you the greatest chance of navigating threats in war-torn situations, and that's going to give you the best chance if food was really scarce and it was in a famine to be really critically thinking and super strategic about how you're going to get the food, how you're going to convince people, manipulate people, beg, borrow, and steal to keep yourself alive. And that's the avoidant energy. Then closeness with other people for an avoidant attachment style doesn't lead to more closeness like it would with secure and anxious people. More closeness to an avoidant person actually causes them to want to create distance from that closeness. So their partner starts being really affectionate and then they pull back. They don't lean in more, they pull back because they go, hey, us getting more close is actually going to be more detrimental for my survival based on what my ancestry, my genes, my DNA tells me. And so that's just an interesting piece. The theory, though, of the book is we are meant to be in relationship to aid our survival. That's what we're designed for as Homo sapiens, just like other animals in the wild. They become a mating pair and they stay together because they think that together they've got a higher chance of survival than separate. That's what our genes are telling us, and that's what the book is pointing to. So in the book, it's leveraging the idea of codependence as a strength. If someone's in and I'll give you a prime example to delineate between what the codependent perspective would be versus the sovereign perspective. If someone is crying and projecting a little bit, and they're like, you didn't do you didn't even think about me today. Instead of taking a pause and saying, hey, I hear that, what you're saying, and I just want to name that when you're saying that this is a nonviolent communication. When you're saying that, I'm feeling a bit scared, and I've got a need for respect. And so my request is, and that's nonviolent communication, stating what happened, stating how you feel, what your unmet need is, and then making a request. And so my request is, can you please just sit with yourself and come back to me when you've actually, this is a custom idea of what a request could be anything, but just an example. Can you sit with that and come back to me when you are feeling a bit more regulated so that you don't, so that I feel safer. And that's kind of like, hey, you're projecting, in other words, and I feel unsafe. Go sort yourself, come back as a whole, and I'll meet you there. And that is more of the sovereign side. The book is saying if you were to do that, that would be unhealthy. And what would be a healthier approach is to not respond like that, but see, hey, my person is kind of testing me a while here. Instead of building on that or creating separation, I'm going to lean into what they need there, and I'm going to try to support them with what they need. I'm going to see, and this is the key to what the book's saying, see that their emotional well-being is my emotional well-being, because we're a unit, we're a team. And if that person's feeling frustrated and upset, because we're a unit and we feel into each other's energetic bubble that we live in, even if we're not in physical proximity, the way that they're feeling impacts the way that our life feels. So if they're feeling down, we get on that and we support it. And that's what the book's suggesting. It's taking that stance of they've got a problem. If it's their problem, it's our problem. Because if it impacts them, we're a unit, it impacts us. And it's seeing it as we are codependent. We're dependent on each other. And let's act in that way. How can I support this person? Because by supporting them, it's going to support me. Whereas I feel that the more new age spiritual stance would be, okay, cool. I'm a whole person. You're a whole person. If you cross that, you need to bring yourself back to wholeness. Meet me here in the wholeness, not project. You need to be able to stabilize yourself. You need to be able to stabilize yourself. If you need me, that's unhealthy. And the book is saying needing people is healthy. The illusion that we don't need other people is unhealthy. And it's healthy to need other people. So on the end of the polarity here of neediness and codependence, one thing that I found really interesting was the book was giving a lot of permission to needs. We have needs. We're humans with needs. That's why we have a partner. If we didn't have needs, why would we need a partner?